Hello and good afternoon from beautiful Laboni, Accra, Ghana. I'm Troy Marsaw, aka Cowboy Troy, sitting here with a good friend of mine from the US of A, Maurice Cheatham, who's joined us at Marsaw Media Reconnect to talk about your experiences here in Ghana, your life in Ghana, and why you chose Ghana. And so I'm glad to have you today. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
But I guess first of all, I want to start is tell me about your background. How'd you end up in Ghana? How did it all come about?
Very unique story. My father's actually Ghanaian. He was born in Bukum, born in Jamestown, migrated to the United States, 70s, early 70s. My mother's from Miami, Florida, Dade County. Went up to Job Corps in Worcester, Massachusetts, where my father settled. My father got a job in a fishing factory. Graduated from Worcester College. Got in corporate America. Started traveling a little bit, different cities, lived a great life, and settled in Detroit, Michigan. While I was in Worcester, Massachusetts, I was surrounded around the Ghanaian community, and in my mind, being Ghanaian was cool. We started to go through these other cities. I started to understand where being African was a negative detriment from a social stance. About 12 years old, and my father was a great man, supported me, great supporter, games, everything. I told my father I no longer want to be African. Not cool. I can't fight with this no more. Can't do this. The African booty scratches, the fighting and stuff like that. A lot of times I was embarrassed. My father was coming to my games, and it was not from my white friends. It's from the brothers and sisters. It took a toll on me. You know what I'm saying? Took a toll on me. My mother and father got divorced, and we moved further away. Even I started distancing myself more and more from my father. Not inviting him to school events. Not inviting him to games. My father retired back to Ghana in about 2000, maybe 2003, 2005. Obviously came back to U.S., checked on me. I was very much in my life, very much a part. Begged me and my brother, begged me to come back to Ghana, visit Ghana, come visit me. Wasn't interested. Wanted no parts of Ghana, wanted no parts of Africa. Why? Now this is before Afro Cellas, for everything, Stoneboy and all of this. There was no need for me to come back. I wanted no association. Obviously, as he talked to my daughters and things like that. Probably around 2014, Troy. My father was very sick. Had diabetes. He had his leg cut off, uh, and he came back. He used to come back to the United States every 2 years, medical care. Um, and as I went to go see him in Worcester, Massachusetts, and spend time with him, he had a conversation. He looked me in my eye. He said, you need to come home. You the senior son. I have to show you some things. You're the only one I could show you. Me, I'm gonna come. I'm gonna come. My father died 2 years later. I think that was about 2016, if I'm correct, maybe 2015. Uh, and what I was faced with when I came home was, and I'm gonna be very personal about this. I thought I was coming home to a family that was welcoming me. Your father died, and an uncle was gonna show me around. But the whole play was set up for them to get their hands on my father's assets. It was a hot mess. My father's funeral was a hot mess for a man who accomplished so much. I was gone. After the funeral, I probably stayed for a month. I can't do this. I got my own life in the U.S. I was gone. But something woke me up. I had an uncle signed a letter of administration behind my father, behind our back, to take over our father's estate. I had to come back about in those 2 years, probably about 6 to 8 times. It started wearing on me more and more. I started going to work and starting to understand this man who had done so much for me that he was going to be washed away. So I decided to come back maybe for about a month. After we blocked this letter of administration, took back over my father's estate, which wasn't a rich estate, but I need to stand up for my father. Stayed for a month, made a decision, went back home, picked up some things, and ended up staying for 2 months, 3 months, and figuring it out. And now I'm here for 6 years.
You know what's interesting? You said something about disengaging from your father
Mhm.
because he was African,
Yeah.
and it makes me relive childhood in which my father
Mhm.
was not in my life the way I would wanted him to have been.
Mhm.
Um, but your father wanted you in his life,
Mhm.
but you disengaged
Yeah.
because you didn't want to be looked at as being African.
Facts.
And so, do you regret the way you handled that?
I truly regret it. I'm paying it forward being here now. This is my home. This is me connecting my roots, making a promise to my father that my kids and their grandkids, my grandkids, will come and will establish his legacy. They'll come every summer. They'll learn God. I don't know God. Been all around Buku, Jamestown, Mount Proby, can bend around every corner, but I don't know the language. But it's paying it forward to let him know that his kids, we got houses here. I'm building a house. I got his house. This is my home. So I think that now I'm paying the homage, I'm paying it forward for future generations for this man. I get a little bit emotional about it. Knee John Brand for Cheatham to let him know his legacy will live on because it could easily be washed away. So
So, the question is, are you doing this for you, or are you doing this because you feel bad for what you didn't do?
great question. That's a great question. Initially, I came because I felt a little bit bad, but I fell in love with Ghana. Fell in love with Ghana. I love Ghana. I love everything about it. Now, if your life is built around consistency, Ghana is not the place for you. But I love the simple things, man. I love the energy in the youth. I love the passion of the country. I love being outside, the safety, little kids saying hello. And I love where it's going and growing. And also from a business development level. I see it.
And how do you avoid your children?
Hmm.
Are they back in the States?
My children are back in the States. My
And
grandkids, I got grandkids. My
okay,
grandkids
and
are back in
so
the
how
States.
do you avoid this generational, trying to avoid the generational curse
Hmm.
of them doing to you
Hmm.
what you did to your father?
So obviously, we're in a different situation, whereas is Africa, especially Ghana's marketed more. Ghana's attractive. People are talking back home in Ghana. My kids want to come. My grandkids don't know the differences, but it's more attractive. You want to be here. So that's not a battle that I'm fighting. They want to come. I'm just setting it up for them to come. So I don't think I'm really suffering from that situation the way where there was so much misinformation that was pushed in addition to. Father was a great man, man. I never really had to struggle. Urban communities, Father did everything he could. But that ploy of Africa, I don't want to go to Africa. I don't want to go to Africa for. Monkeys are hot. What up?
You know what's funny about that is when I before I came to Ghana,
Mm-hmm.
I was home one night, and one of my attorney friends called me up and said, "Hey man, what are you doing?"
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Oh, I'm just here at the house doing nothing." He says, "I'm here in Ghana," and I said, "Well, where is Ghana?"
Okay.
And he says, "Africa." And so I said, "That's a beautiful piece of art behind you.
Mm-hmm.
Can you find out who's the producer of that piece of art?" And he says, "Man, you should just come over here.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of great artists over here for you to check out. You love art." And I said, "You know what? The next time you go to Ghana, let me know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm coming to Ghana." And so I come to Ghana 3 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and my first trip to Ghana, I fell in love with Ghana. And so,
Can I ask you? And I don't mean
yes,
to interrupt. What specifically did you fall in love with? I know there's a number of things, but for
peaceful,
Cowboy Troy, yeah,
peaceful.
yeah.
Um, I could forget to lock my doors and not have to worry about someone breaking in the middle of the night.
Yes, sir, brother.
Um, I didn't have to worry about police brutality. I knew that if I left, I'd probably more than likely return home.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the U.S.,
Mm-hmm.
you leave, you better hope that you return home because anything can happen.
Facts.
And so it's a peace like I've never had before in my life.
Facts.
And everyone back in the States says, but you have so much more here. And I think most people base uh, life on materialism. And so you may have material wealth, but not happiness.
Yeah,
You see what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah,
And so there's a big difference in the two.
yeah.
And so speaking on materialism and money,
Mhm.
how are you able to survive in Ghana? What are you doing for, to just
Yeah,
live?
and you have to make a living to survive in Ghana. It is not cheap.
Yes,
Okay. I have a travel tour company called African Roots Travel. We
yes.
host African Americans here. We do family tours, group tours, luxury tours, and that's been going very well. I have a great network inside of my network of individuals, families, individuals that want to travel to Ghana. That has stymied into us hosting tours and doing groups for the past 6 years um, into consulting. Not even a consultant, but having a value of being boots on the ground. Being a liaison for individuals who want to start up businesses here, doing business research. We're managing a couple housing projects, overseeing housing projects. That comes at a value to individuals. We've hosted some high profile people. We hosted Eddie Benoit from Atlanta, major real estate developer, Jason Carter, One Africa, a couple people I can't mention. It's been going pretty well. But
Hmm.
it's definitely work. It's definitely, we're all over here working
Hmm.
hard.
So if someone were coming to Ghana,
Mhm.
they can get in contact with africanrootstravel.com.
.com. Yeah,
africanrootstravel.com.
yeah.
Okay, and so they tell me the process.
Well, first of all, when you contact us, is the first thing we want to do is we'll send you out a pre-travel intake form, have you fill that out, so we can get an idea of your process, of what you're looking for, your lodging choices. Ghana's a very unique, very unique culture. Then we will schedule a Zoom meeting with you. Want to introduce ourselves? We think that's very important. We're a little bit more organic. Us introduce us, get to know you, make sure we don't pass over anything because these are memorable experiences. This isn't just you traveling to France. This is the this is a trip of a lifetime that future generations will share. So we need to know that. One of the things we like to say is we don't do cookie cutter tours. So that's why we need to get on the phone and see what we can do. Some of our highlights is we have a videographer on board, so we make sure we capture that experience, cut it up into individual episodes. We got some other secret sauce we add to it. I just don't necessarily want to give everything away, but the phone is ringing.
Mhm.
The phone is ringing. So,
And so, so you have a host of different businesses
mm,
um, that you're involved in. What challenges have you faced here in Ghana?
man, that's Cowboy Troy. That's a well, you coming with the ringers, ain't you? Uh, Ghana's a different business environment. I think we had a pre-conversation is if you enjoy consistency, Ghana's not the place for you, and you don't have patience. It's not America. It's Ghana. That means something different. Um, I like to say it's not ABC. It's A to Z, D to H, K elemental P, and then start back at A. Um, it can be frustrating dealing with individuals. We're here for organic nature to build, and sometimes individuals perceive that you have money, and everybody's looking for something. People want dollars. The economy is tanked. The economy is tanked. CD was at 7 cities last year, now it's at 15. It's hard out here for Ghanaians. So you're in the midst of doing this business, and as proud as Ghanaians are, it's a lot of strife going on. So with us, it's trying to maintain consistency, trying to make sure price levels that we're providing a quality experience for our clients, but also saving them money. Sometimes that's hard to calculate. Ghana's not a cheap place for the level that we kick it on.
It's funny you say that the word cheap, because most people think in the United States that I've spoken to, they think that Ghana is cheap. And so, what is, explain that? What do you mean by that?
Okay, so let me just start here. You travel internationally. I've traveled internationally. West Africa has more black wealth than anywhere in the world. It's not. Let's not get that confused. Let's talk about the wave of what's coming over. Those individuals from the early six, and I say West Africa because I like to include our brothers from Nigeria, Sierra Leone, Togo, who come here. 1960, late 1960s, early 1970s, they were giving visas away like it was water to West Africans. We weren't a threat. It was easy to settle. That's why I feel so sorry for my youth. It's hard for them. So it's easy for my father, my uncle to go to the UK. Those individuals saved up half of their paychecks. Old school 401k, match for match. Now you're talking about 30 years later, 2010. They're coming home with a substantial amount. They're all retiring back. They built 5, 7, 8 bedroom houses. They're coming home. They didn't cash out the 401k, the insurance policies. The kids are grown. They sold all the cars. They're coming home with 500,000, a million, 2 million. They're coming home. They're filling up these spaces. Okay. You don't necessarily like to get into government politics, but there's a lot of extra money in government floating around. A lot of extra money in government floating around as we're kicking out social with individuals we know. Nigeria is next door, sixth largest oil producing country in the nation, major corruption. Nigeria doesn't spend their money in Nigeria, they spend it in Ghana. They spend it in Ghana. And so does the West of West Africa. Why? Because it's safe. It's a stable democracy and no one's looking at you. Then we have the African Americans who are mid-level, high-level professionals who are coming here with excess. People are buying 300,000. It's nothing to see a 300,000 one-bedroom apartment in Ghana. Nothing. I'm not buying that. Don't. It'll be sold next week. Thank you. Move next. On the side of the road. Range Rovers, Benzes. You see it. Cash. There's no credit here.
Yeah, see that, and that's the funny thing is that here in Ghana, as you know, to get an apartment, you have to pay 12 months up front.
Sometimes 2 years.
Yeah, that's unbelievable because I thought to myself, wow, the average person can't pay 12 months up front, more or less. I mean, 3 or 4 months up front. And so I'm thinking to myself, even to purchase a home, you have to pay cash to purchase a home. So the question is, in one sense, I understand that here, if you see someone that has a home, they have money. Now, when I say that they have money,
Yeah.
this is what I mean by that. In the US of A, it's almost based upon a falsehood because we are extended credit, meaning that I can have a nice car, a house, dress nice, but I'm up to debt. I mean, I'm up to the I'm up to the ceiling in debt, right? And so it looks good, but behind the scenes, I may not have as much as it look as though I have. But here, it's a different story because what it's saying is, well, if you live over there, more than likely you've already paid your rent for the 12, 24 months. So everything that you are picking up from that point on is probably being paid for by cash. There's no credit system like in the United States. And so because of that, I look at Ghana differently than maybe the person or the persons that are living here.
It's interesting because I had the most humbling experience of my life where I seen credit. You come over here, you're flashing, you're looking at your cousins, they borrowing money. Shout out to Tessie House, Cotolante, Jamestown, my family house, where my grandmother's from. I have a cousin. She sells She sells tomatoes in the market in Moncala. My cousin is hilarious, always asking for money. And then one day she finally broke out and said, cousin, I want to invite you. Invite me. What you got planned now? You feel me? No. We're gonna go. Where are we going? You feel me? Don't say anything. We're gonna go to Dodoa. But you're gonna pay for us to go. Want to see where this will go. My cousin sells tomatoes at the market, which my grandmother did. Sent a son to UK, sent a son to the United States. That's what I'm a product of. They didn't have any money. She sponsored my grandmother in Moncala. So I go with my cousin on a Sunday on this foolish mission just to entertain her. She's quiet. I know she got a scam. We about to stop somewhere for lunch or something. We go and we pull up at this plot in the hills of Rocky Road. She hops and says, come. And she smiles. She probably got a 3-layer brick by brick, one room setup, but it's on a plot. Now in my mind, I'm like, she trying to sell me some land. Oh man, this is cousin, what's up? She says, this is my plot. I'm building this, cousin. No, the whole plot is mine. Ooh. And she had a little washroom build up. And I realized that my cousin, who sells tomatoes at the market, who I laugh at, give her 50 CD. I think my cousin, I think at that time I might have been about 45. My cousin was 28 years old. My cousin outright owned a piece of property and was building her a house. That house is done now. What do I own in the U.S.? The Yukon Excel? I don't own that. What, the little townhouse I had? I didn't own that. But my cousin, who I laughed at with her socks at the market and her hat and all the market women, she owned something outright. No one could take it away from her. So I think that you need to reverse your thinking on West Africa, not you, but people is, and think differently. Because one thing that Ghanaians could teach you is business development. They're going to get to the bag. There is no social structure. There's family, but there is no welfare. There is no handouts. You're going to sell some water. And that's why our youth, Ghanaian youth, are so strong. There are no jobs here. That's why I love you and I love what you do. You provide opportunities. It is tough out here. You graduate with a degree, there's no job. But you see them every day. They still got smiles on their faces. They'll sell water. They'll do anything. So there's a lot to learn. I know I'm jumping. There's a lot to learn on both sides. Ghanaians can teach us business development. That's why you see West Africans are so successful. They're merchants and, they do their thing. But also we could teach them sense of self of who they are and what they have. It's gold in Ghana, it's everything else. Why do you think the Chinese are here? So Ghanaians want to flee when you come back. Right now, Osu is being changed into Chinatown as we talk. Give it another 5 years. They have no idea what's going on. You going to France, you going to the USA, and they're coming here. They'll be selling Wache in a second. Cheaper than Ghanaians sell it. I'm sorry, but I'm passionate about this on a tangent.
Do you think that? But do you think the Ghanaians are more disciplined when it comes to money?
I think that the Ghanaians are disciplined because of history. If you go into the 80s, Rollins, and I remember my mother and father used to get on fist fights. It was tough here. It's one meal a day when these schools were coming. It's tough here. The only way that Ghanaians would survive was through remittance, sending money home. So I think they hold on to a dollar harder. I think they hold on to a dollar harder and they plan in order to plan it. Obviously, we see the excesses. Mm-hmm. You hang out sometime, we see that. But the Ghanaians going to save. How do you think these houses are being built in some of these communities? Who's, and I'm not talking about the big men or who can afford it. Everybody's building. Their goal is to build. Mm-hmm. So I think we have some things to learn. At the end of the day, what business are you setting up? What are you doing? We go through these neighborhoods, you got 10 women selling Coca-Colas, selling the same things, but they all work together. Mokla, you can go laugh. You go laugh at the woman and think they don't have themselves together. That is a network, buddy. They got bank accounts. They got market moms,
What's funny, Crystal and I had to...
Shout out to Crystal. That's my sister. Crystal, I love
her. I had to take a trip up to the bank to sign some documents. Uh-huh. And there were about 4 or 5 people that were sitting on the sofa. Mm-hmm. And they were looking pretty rough, according to mm-hmm. what you and I, how we dress. Yeah. And I was thinking to myself, well, maybe they're just here waiting on a handout, and Crystal, we can just move on ahead. Mm-hmm. And the young man at the bank said, well, wait. They're waiting, and they're next. I said, oh, okay, cool. So we sat down, and while we were seated, mm-hmm. this guy goes into the bag.
What did he pull out?
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, buddy.
He came out of that bag with so much money that Crystal and I were like, hey, do we need to hit him? I mean, I must say that I've been deceived by the way people present themselves here versus the way it is presented in the US of A. And so what I mean by that, mm-hmm. is that you will find individuals here
Mhm.
that may not dress the part,
Mhm.
but they have the money. And then you have back in the US of A where they dress the part and they're begging, hey, I need $10 here so I can pay for this.
Yeah.
And so there's a big difference. And
You think the uncle who worked at the Lands Commission was now retired for 30 years is broke?
yeah, yeah.
You think the uncle who worked at the gold, the mining commission for the last 45 years is just retired is broke? Just hate to say it, he's sitting on a lot of bread that he's not showing. A lot of money, a lot of CDs.
So they're not really showy type people. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think that's one thing about Ghana. It's still based, and I'm just really sticking with Accra. You visit neighborhoods like Dansuma, even Bawe, start to look around. And sometimes even at night, when you start to look at the houses that are being built, a lot of these neighborhoods, you turn down a right street, bro, you go down a dirt road. Whoa, who's building these houses? I think we're showing it more because Ghanaians are coming in more into excess as a world through capitalism, popping bottles and the things we like to do in nice restaurants. But for the most part, the average Ghanaian is never going to touch a lot of places that we go. And doesn't mean he's going to go to a funeral on Sunday and show you got some money.
Mm.
Funerals are like HBCU homecomings.
Really?
But yo, funerals are large, huge. Weddings and funerals are the seat of Ghana entertainment.
Speaking of funerals,
Thank you, brother.
I was told that once a person uh, dies here,
Mhm.
there's a possibility that the body could be held up for 2 to 3 years before they put in the ground. Explain that to me.
So easy. Specifically in the God tradition, I can explain what I went through is it's not just you. Okay. So there's a process that when a person dies, you necessarily don't plan the funeral. The elders on the paternal side get together and plan the funeral. There are people who have to be notified. So even that with our clinic, we have 3 meetings, 3 family meetings. Those meetings could be spaced out. Okay. Those meetings could be 2 months apart. Maybe they have to raise money. It could be multiple wives. Oh, it's got to get done. And the family talks and they decide what they need to do. They take your feedback, but you're not in control of what's going to happen. So, me, for example, my father was on ice, and I hate to be put him on ice. My father was on ice for 6 months because we got to come. It's other brothers, it's uncles who coming from so and so. This all has to come together. So this process could easily be extended, but it's a beautiful thing to see the family come together. And let me be clear, because I just don't want to stick on the guys from the Shanties to the Elways, you know what I'm saying, to the houses, to the Fonties. It's real tradition. And that's why I didn't understand my father's being buried. And I was robbed of that because it was mixed in with deception. It was mixed in with deception. But the funeral is a beautiful thing, the way they honor a person. And please, your staff step in. So you have 3 family meetings, decide on the funeral. Okay. The body at the morgue on Thursday, they take it. Well, they have it at the family house. They'll have sponges that are brought and different towels. They'll bring gifts. The whole family to get together. Now it's just like at home. It's the only time you're gonna see the whole family now. Might not see an auntie for 8 months, but you're gonna see her during this 4 days of events, and she'll act like it was yesterday. They'll take the body out from the morgue. Before they do that, they'll wash it with the sponges and clean it up and dress the individual. They'll take the individual around the car and they'll take him around to every house that he lived at to honor that house. And then he'll rest at the father's house. Okay? Almost like a wake. That'll be Friday. That'll be a wake. Um, Thursday. Friday, be a rest day. Saturday, you go to church. Sunday, and baby, it's a party. About to turn up. About to have that DJ out. About to have that table out. You about to come in that family cloth and you about to rock out.
Really?
And it's a celebration. So it's a whole family situation. And I left something out too is they also post posters all around the neighborhood, specifically at the house, to let everyone know that this individual has died in the neighborhood.
So they carry the body from house to house?
Within a hearse. Yeah, they carry it from
Really?
house to house that he's lived in. They pay homage. They'll stop for 15 minutes before they bring it to a wake at the paternal father's house. And that's why we come here. I think we come here to thrive off that. So I think Ghana gives us business development, but the culture is what we're seeking. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful and it's different in every clan.
Well, that's interesting. Because it's not done exactly that way back home, as you know. And I say back home, being the U.S. of A. You have two homes, and so uh, I have to clarify that. But tell me,
Mm-hmm.
give me one of your success stories since you've been here. Do you have anything
Yeah.
that has turned out really good for you?
Yeah. So I mean I have a couple successes, but let's just share the simple ones. We get clients and we get these mails back like they've had one of the best trips of their life. And I don't necessarily put that on us. But our clients are mid-level professionals, high-level professionals, traveled all over the world. Even got Greenland, and they never thought about coming to Ghana before. And it's still that block, it's still that mental block that's stopping them. And then when they come, we show them a balanced experience. We show them that Ghana is more than slave dungeons, that Ghana is progressing. We show them how the kids are hungry, how the talented kids, we show them the talent of the youth. And then we show them also where the money is at, from real estate development to individuals we interact with. And they come back and they say, wow, this is one of the best trips I ever had in my life. Because I feared coming to Ghana. And then they take that and they go back to their workplace. And nobody can tell them about what they seen in Africa. Nobody now within your workplace, so and so is talking. Shut up. Because I'm gonna tell you what I seen. Ghana's not South Africa. It's not Somalia. So Somalia, don't get it confused. It's not the Congo. There is no war. Muslims and Christians live next to each other. Where does that happen to in the world? You don't see them promoting that. So now we go back. But then when you bring your kids and you go back, Troy, and you share this with your daughters and this, and that, it's an imprint that my daddy is in Africa. It's a whole different mission going on. She had another group. We have one group. They sent us so many people. They came back and they brought their family. Just Crystal Madam. There's like 20 deep. Lawyers, judges, everybody. She's got a message. Best trip ever.
You know, we're about to go into a commercial break
Yeah.
here, but I want to say this to you. Um, the negative stigma
Mm-hmm.
that's attached to Africa in the US of A is promoted by not only whites, but blacks as well. And for some strange reason,
Mm-hmm.
we've been brainwashed into believing that Africa is what Donald Trump referred to it as a S-hole.
Mm-hmm.
And now
Mm-hmm.
I know far more than I did then. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so black people have never been here believe that if you go to Africa, it's all safari,
Facts.
zebras, tigers,
Facts.
lions running around.
Facts.
And when I tell them, man, they have high rises, Rolls Royce, Mercedes Benz, Ferraris,
Yeah.
and they even have lawyers over here that
Facts.
charge you out the butt just like they do in the United States of America.
Man,
So
listen
on that note,
here.
I want to talk to you about that. We're coming back after
Yeah.
this break. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Marsaw Media, um, Reconnect with Maurice Cheatham from Detroit, Michigan,
Yes, sir.
now residing in Ghana, Africa. And this is part two. And let's talk about the business side of what you do,
Mm-hmm.
Maurice. Tell me more about the business side.
My primary business is African Roots Travel. We curate experiences for African Americans visiting Ghana. Um, we don't just base that on the cultural side. That's from the nightlife, the B2B meetings, and we try to engage them to get a full picture of Ghana. By the time they leave, they've assessed what Ghana is, and hopefully they return. So that's primarily what we do. That's turned into consulting, where we're on the boost liaisons for a lot of our clients in America who want to do business here. They trust our judgment, they trust our value, they trust our integrity. And that could be anything like we're helping a couple from Bedside, Brooklyn build a house in Sable. Um, we're on the ground doing a couple sister city partnerships, working with some cities in the U.S. So, yeah.
When I when I think about U.S. of A, I think about just Houston, Texas, where I live when I'm not here,
H-Town.
H Town, and I think about all of the individuals, and I saw where, um, for example, Dwight Boykins,
Mm-hmm.
who was Houston City Council person,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and I remember Boris Miles, and they were all talking about Ghana
Mm-hmm.
and taking a trip to Ghana to explore the
Yes.
business opportunities of Ghana.
Yes.
There's a realtor back home by the name of Bobby Bryant that does really well in real estate
Mm-hmm.
in the US of A, Houston. And so, how easy is it for you to take those individuals that want to come in on a tour?
Mm-hmm.
Can you show them, explain to them how they can succeed in business, in real estate,
Mm-hmm.
whatever is it, if it's real estate, whatever business opportunity they're looking to explore, can you help them explore it through your tours?
Well, that's definitely what we do. We try to provide a foundation for them to self-assess. We're not here to market or sell anybody that they can be successful, but to those individuals, provide them a foundation and doing those B2B meetings, putting them in the field, put them in them circumstances where they can truly understand for themselves on how to survive and add the numbers. So at the end of the day, you have to add the numbers in Ghana, regardless of what your passion is. So that's what we're here to do. A lot of times individuals ask like me, well, how can I survive in Ghana? What can I do? I've never opened up a restaurant, but what I can tell you is that Kentucky Fried Chicken is doing well. Burger King is doing well. So a restaurateur to come here and assess from a fast food situation, what is their business model? How do they work? How can you set up and see their supply chain? Um, I'd be very honest, the Indians and the Lebanese get it. They're doing great business in Ghana. Great businesses because they believe. Shout out to Melcom. They've been here for a number of years. I think Melcom's been here over 60 years. There's a supply chain where they're the Walmart of Ghana. They are the Walmart of Ghana. So my question is, why don't brothers and sisters who are in these prospective fields at least come assess the business opportunities that are here?
And I know
Yeah.
you talked to me about putting together a group to come in from the states, from different cities,
Mm-hmm.
to come here and explore the business opportunities
Yeah.
here in Ghana.
Yeah.
And how would that actually work?
I think we have a collective of business individuals who are business. That trip would be more based around business, setting up B2B meetings with their individual industries, having meetings with key industry players within their industries, and also doing a business seminar, inviting certain individuals who are key players for them to engage. That whole foundation is providing an opportunity, once again, for them to assess themselves and add it up. Yeah.
I I've come in and set up businesses here myself,
Hmm.
and the process can sometimes be daunting because it's not the same as it is in the United States,
Yeah.
and so there are different uh, hoops you have to jump through, but it can be done in a timely fashion. So, for a individual that wants to set up a business in Ghana,
Hmm.
what do you think is the time frame in setting up a business in Ghana from A to Z
Yeah.
with all your governmental processes and all of that?
Yeah. I mean, I think we have to add in first again, like you said, first I'm coming to assess, taking a couple trips, uh, doing some on the ground investigation, providing marketing and research reports. I mean, I think that has to be the foundation before we even talk about it. I think an individual to open up a business in Ghana, they have to have a certain amount of liquid assets to open up a business, which is fairly large. I think that's anywhere from 200 to 500,000 to
Well,
open it
that's
up.
only if you don't have a Ghanaian partner.
Well, I'm about to come in with
Yeah.
that. But then also is who is that Ghanaian partner? Bunch of individuals have fell victim to that too. Do you really want to put someone 50% on your paperwork that you don't know?
Well, it's only 10% now.
10%? Okay.
Yeah, so
Do you want to do that?
you don't want to, but sometimes you may have to until you
Yeah,
graduate to the next level.
exactly. So those are things we need to assess. Even with that 10%, we're on the ground to see who that person really is, not just what they tell you.
Hmm.
Those are the type of services we offer.
Now before I close this, I want to make sure that the people out here know,
Mhm.
um, for individuals that are considering coming to Ghana, I want you to know that African Roots Travel is the number one company
Oh
that's,
wow!
well, I have to tell the truth.
Thank you,
And
brother.
so here's what happens. Um, if most people come to Ghana, at least they've been coming to Ghana for December, because that's the party, 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 party
Yes,
month. And
sir.
when I
Yes,
tell
sir.
you, I've never seen anything like it. And someone say, but why do you like Ghana so much? I'm gonna tell you, part of that
Yeah.
is the month of December, because you know what? I was asking a friend of mine who's a physician here, and I said, man, you know what? We had at least how many people for December last year? And he says, Troy, throughout the whole month, I would say we probably had about 500,000 or 600,000 just coming to the concerts.
Mhm.
And I said, well, how many fatalities do we have? And he says, well, maybe about 10 or 12. I said, man, I said, we got to work on that. And he says, what do you mean? And I said, you had 10 or 12 people to die. He said, no, nobody died. When you were saying fatalities, I was talking about people fainting and passing out. And I said, so nobody was shot? And he's like, shot how? And I was like, listen, I can take you to a club in Houston and you may not make it out alive, depending on where you are. But can you imagine? Think about this: 500,000 or 600,000 people to come into Ghana,
Mhm.
and then to have 500,000 or 600,000 people to walk out and leave and go back home
Mhm.
without being bruised,
Mhm.
without being touched.
It's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
It is unbelievable.
Yeah.
The people here, if they step on your tennis shoe, I'm sorry, move on.
Yeah.
That's it.
You can't buy that type
You
of
can't buy
peace.
it.
You can't
And
buy that
people say,
type of
well, why do
peace.
you like it so much?
Mm.
I've never, listen, I was telling someone the other night, you're walking down the street, you see someone that maybe had too much to drink and the money is hanging out their pocket. Instead of someone trying to take advantage of them, they go up to them and say, excuse me, you need to put your money back in your pocket. It's about to fall out. You're not going to find that. Well,
And you know what? I think that you also find a type of grace in the business environment. A lot of times, people like to put tags on Ghana's business environment, but they're not approaching it right. Some great opportunity here. Some people that care, they want to do right, and it's opportunities that are boundless for real investment to invest in Ghana. Ghana is growing at tremendous rates. Um, my father, I remember when he called me and he told me he wanted us to buy some land in the airport. This is about 15 years ago. He heard us buying some land in the airport. You and your brother come home, we'll watch over it. We ain't come home. Plots in airport selling for $1 million right now.
yeah.
My father told me, just come home, I just want you to handle the paperwork.
Well,
Yeah.
that's why I think that for individuals that are coming from the States, I think they really need to reach out to you, because you can show them all of that. If they're coming for business reasons, if they're coming for a party reason, if they're coming for to see the slave trade, how it all occurred and what happened after they go up the coast.
Yes, sir.
You expose them to all of that. Whatever they want, you can provide that service, and that's why I say
Yes, sir.
it makes it so good for the people that are coming in, because you give such a great service and you
I
you
appreciate you, brother.
expose them
Thank you.
to things that they've heard about, but you actually take them to the location, to the spot, so you
Facts.
can actually see it.
Yeah.
And so, if you're coming any time of the year, then you need to reach out to African Roots
Travel.com.
Travel.com
Yeah.
and speak with his representatives, because I'm telling you, it's well worth it. And for those of you that are thinking about coming to Ghana, come, because I can tell you this has been one of the greatest experiences I've ever had in my entire life.
Mm.
All the accomplishments that I've made back in the States, nothing compares to me being here in Ghana
Wow.
and the way that I live here in Ghana. And I want to thank everyone that's Ghanaian for all that they've done for me. I want to thank Mo, you being from Detroit, but a Ghanaian, and what you've done for me.
Thank you,
And
bro.
I thank you for spending time with me today on your busy day.
Yes, sir.
And we're about to getting ready to go and hit the beautiful streets of Leboni and
Lebona.
Accra. And when you guys are considering coming to Ghana, then reach out to me, reach out to Mo, and we'll put you in touch with all the right people and the things that you need to do here to have a great time. Once again, thank you very, very much, all of you that are watching on Facebook. I appreciate it. I'll be home soon, and I look forward to seeing all of you. Thank you very much, Mo Cheetah.
Thank you. Appreciate you, sir.